Welcome to our revenue management simulation. We are team 11.3 and this is our 4-star Voyageur hotel. Our management team includes Alicia, the quality manager, Emily, the revenue manager, Thanos, the general manager, Valentina, the marketing manager, and Maria, the sales manager. So on today's agenda, we first have the introduction of our hotel, then we will talk about the performance review, the analysis that we have done for the past year, the findings that we have discovered, and eventually we will end with our recommendations.
We will now start to introduce Voyageur Hotel.
Voyageur Hotel is a 250-room hotel with 50 premium rooms, 200 standard rooms, and as well a restaurant, a conference and event space, one exercise room, a small pool, and an outdoor recreation area. It is an unpretentious luxury hotel integrating the best technology and comfort. The hotel is 8 years old and has multiple services to accommodate all customers in the best way possible. This includes complimentary parking, telephone service, guest laundry and dry cleaning, room entertainment and internet, and of course, room service. The hotel facilities have not been refurbished since the opening, and due to the lack of funds, some of them had to be postponed. Now we will have a look at the situation for the previous years. Since 2015, our occupancy has decreased between 8 and 14% every year, and so has the GOP. This led as well, of course, to a lower ADR. Finance and credit have been nearly impossible to obtain. It is clearly a buyer's market, where both individual and group clients expect exceptional value at discounted prices. On the other hand, there are positive market area developments and property developments that are indicating better opportunities for better business performance this upcoming year. 2018 objectives are the following. First of all, we would like to increase occupancy rate to 60%. Then we would like to increase the GOP to 30%. Achieve and maintain a level of guest satisfaction of at least 10% is very important to us. And of course, the return on equity should be higher than 8%.
Moving on to our position strategy. Our target customers are mainly business travelers due to high requests of premium rooms. People require efficient equipment and services, and as well center hotel with facilities and menus with focus on their health. And leisure travelers that appreciate receiving all the benefits of the hotels in a face value. Our pricing strategy. We chose two types of pricing. First one, the competition-based pricing, meaning decision based on prices of the competition, highest and lowest prices of competition, offerings were considered when setting the prices, and achieving most profitable market share. The second pricing strategy that we chose was value-based pricing. During July and August, we prefer higher price than the average market price due to our value proposition, which we can see from the graph. And second, we estimate the value of the rooms from a consumer's perspective.
Next, we will talk about the performance review.
On to our performance review. In our annual summary for 2018, we can compare our occupancy, average daily rate, and gross operating profit from the last 3 years to the year of 2018. So, we can see the occupancy of our hotel was 59.07%, our RevPAR was $110.50, the gross operating profit was 41.45%, the rooms sold that we sold in total was 53,944, and the average daily rate that we charged in our hotel was $187.40 per night.
Through a simple analysis of operations performance, we can observe a peak in total and room revenue and other income. We reached this peak of around $3,400,000 during the strong third quarter, where total revenue in August is reaching almost $1.2 million. The fourth quarter was the second highest, with a total revenue of almost $3 million, and it's followed by the first quarter, which just exceeded $2 million. Finally, the second quarter was close to the first, rounding $1,980,000. We can directly relate all of this data to the occupancy experience in the hotel during these time frames. When observing occupancy, we can directly link it to our previous analysis of revenue performance, where the third quarter came in strongest with a total occupancy of 69%, and even a higher weekend occupancy of 64%. The fourth quarter had a strong weekend occupancy as well. It reached 62%, putting it and justifying it as our second strongest quarter. As our revenue forecast exposed, the second quarter came in with a relatively low occupancy of 58%. Finally, the first quarter came in last, with a very low weekday and total occupancy skimming 53%. Moving on to analyze our market performance. We observed that during all 4 quarters, our room market share was below 10%. We saw in quarter 1 it was 9.73, followed by 8.78 in quarter 2, 9.78 in quarter 3, and finally with 9.69 in quarter 4. The revenue per available room fluctuated a lot, as we saw with occupancy before. As less rooms were booked also, the ADR decreased. The trend follows as previously, with Q3 with the highest RevPAR, revenue per available room, followed by Q4, Q2, and finally quarter 1. The T-RevPAR followed the same trend. Nevertheless, we could observe a change of trend when analyzing the RGI, where Q4 came in strongest, followed by Q1, then Q3, and finally the second quarter coming in last.
So the guest satisfaction levels for our hotel. We can first see through our graphs that there was an increase in guest satisfaction for services in quarter 3, which remained stable throughout quarter 4. The level of satisfaction with public spaces refurbishment remained relatively constant throughout the year. Our levels of guest satisfaction for facilities steadily increased throughout the first 3 quarters. However, for both room refurbishments and facilities, our level of guest satisfaction decreased in the last quarter due to our insufficient funds. We unfortunately mismanaged our refurbishments. So during the year, we had 4 requests for proposals, which unfortunately were rejected. However, we did calculate and set the minimum acceptable rate for each of these times.
Now we will continue with the analysis.
In terms of key performance indicators, KPIs, we can observe the same trend for all 4 quarters, where we see a quite low occupancy followed by a high average daily rate, and also justified. This ADR made us also have a low revenue per available room, as not many rooms were occupied. This is clearly illustrated in the graph, where we see average daily rate and occupancy in negatively correlated trends throughout all quarters. We also see great polar opposites in the second quarter, which is our most unstable and weakest in terms of revenue and occupancy. When doing our external analysis, when looking at market share and analyzing it, we can observe that not only did we have a very high market share in discounted customer segment, where we had a best available rate, the bar, discounted. When looking at the market segment for groups, we also observed that it was heavily saturated and it fluctuated a lot. Therefore, no RFP was received. When observing the transient customer behavior though, our hotel experienced a very low market share for this group.
Moving on the ADR of 2018, we can see a clear difference between weekdays and weekends. For the premium rooms, the rate has been higher on weekdays, $294 being the highest rate in quarter 3. The lowest rate for these rooms, on the other hand, has been on weekends in quarter 1 with a rate of $205. For the bar standard, the highest room rate was also in quarter 3 on a weekday with a rate of $252, the lowest being $174 on a weekend in quarter 1. Both package and promotion both have the highest and lowest rate in the same quarter, and as the other rooms types, they have had the highest rate on a weekday and the lowest on the weekend. This is due to the fact that the occupancy between weekdays and weekends was significant. For this reason, we decided to increase the price when the occupancy was high. Moreover, for the average rooms sold during the year, we can observe that on weekdays, the bar standard rooms were the most popular ones, selling almost double the amount that all other rooms types. Both in quarter 2 and 3, more than $2,500 were earned on that specific room type, as seen on the graphs. In terms of the weekend, on the other hand, bar standard and promotion sold almost the same amount of rooms throughout the whole year. For both weekdays and weekends, the package rooms were the ones that generated the least profit during the all quarters. When it comes to performance-based distribution channel, we can observe that the strategy that we chose was the one with the lowest commission cost, in this case direct plus GTS rates. We can see clearly from the graph that the highest percentage we generated from the direct, meaning we capture all profits, plus disparability directs and others, and direct peaks we can clearly observe from the graph that was mid-season Q3, which generated the highest profit contribution. Moving on, the seasonality fluctuation. We can observe from the graph that in Q3 and Q4, the direct peaks affect profit contribution. Q1 and Q3, there was a steady increase for GTS. And in Q3, we can see a significant increase in OTA and a drop in Q4 because it was a low season plus the market share of our hotel decreased. And we can clearly see that in Q1, steadily to Q4, the whole share remained the same.
I'm Maria, and I will walk you through the marketing and advertisement expenses of the year. For the first 2 quarters, we only invested in marketing tools as e-commerce service, hotel website, and performance benchmarking service for $3,300 per month. At the beginning of Q3, we invested in additional marketing tools such as the guest response service, which gave us an insight of the market opinion, and we understood that we had to invest more in room advertising. In August, we started advertising. The total advertising expense for the third quarter was $44,000, while we spent $4,700 per month in marketing tools. As the advertising wasn't satisfying enough, we decided to invest more during the last quarter. The fourth quarter advertising expenses was $187,000, and we invested in additional marketing tools such as the loyalty program and public relations. These increased our market expense to $12,700 per month. This strategy resulted in satisfied guests and more visibility as we received feedbacks of a useful and timely advertising. Our advertising focus was on the direct market, and 44% of the total advertising expense was directed on this channel. Regarding the 2018 objectives, we achieved 3 out of 4. That is, we increased the occupancy rate to 60%, we increased the gross operating profit to 30%, and we achieved and maintained a level of guest satisfaction of at least 10%.
We will now be talking about the recommendations and how we would further improve our hotel.
So for our recommendations, firstly, short term, we would like to invest more on direct rates, increase our best available rates and our standard market share, redefine our trigger points for rates with a better understanding of our target customers, analyze forecast demand for weekdays and weekends, and set the prices accordingly. Long term, we would like to gradually invest more in F&B and have a stronger positioning in customer mindset as a fair price hotel. We'd like to continue to adjust prices and market expenditure in accordance to our target market.